Welcome back to House of Prep. We have a fun video coming up, but it's still Thursday. So if you like, we have folks that like to do it. Put your updates in the comments about your area, about maybe some food shortages, price increases, shrinkflation, gas prices, things that maybe you've accomplished in your prepping goals. Put them in the comments and then we come back later and we like to read those. So still do that. It's still Thursday, okay? But I want to talk about colors. The top 10 favorite best colors that I thought of, and again, that's not exclusive. You might have a color or two that you might think is more important than the colors I'm going to read off, but make sure you stick around to the last color. Okay, it's a pretty important color. But color number one, let's go ahead and get started. Let's just jump right into it. White. All right, white can be used for a lot of things. As a prepper, when you're out gardening, you're out chopping wood, you're working out in the sun and the heat of summer. White can be a good deflective color, along with other colors, but white is an important color. Mosquitoes don't necessarily target the color white. So if you're out working in the yard, things are going where you need to spend time in the garden or during the daytime and evening time, mosquitoes tend to stay away from white. So white's an important color. How about gray, number two? Gray. It's a pretty neutral color. You hear the term called gray man, okay? As a prepper, someone who's trying to stay low key under the radar, the color gray is important. Thinking about that, I have a gray zip up hoodie sweatshirt. It's just pretty low key. I could be out in public, I could blend right in. Gray fits in. Gray goes with all the other colors. You can mix and match. But it's one of those, you just kind of don't stand out. You kind of just go along with everyone else. You're not that maybe putting a target on your back. So gray. Number three, yellow. And here's why yellow. It's nice and bright, right? Why yellow? Well, it's for safety. If you're out and you're doing some things that you need for people to see you, that's opposite of gray, but you're wanting to be seen for safety purposes, then yellow's a pretty good one. It's also deflective for light, for things. You see people out working on road work and landscapers, and that bright yellow that they wear, it tends to work. So you could use that along with number four, orange, another safety color, another that bright orange deflective type of a color. And to make sure that you're seen, you see hunters putting orange and yellows, and people that do crossing guards and all these things. So if you have a need that you want to be seen for a purpose, or having something that stands out so you see it from a distance, then that's the color that you would probably want to use, those bright oranges and bright yellows. How about black? What are we at, number five? Number five, black. That's a good nighttime color. I remember as a teenager, here I am going to do a confession online here. Some friends and I wanted to go and do some TPing of houses. Now you say, what is TP in a house? What does that mean? Well, you take as much toilet paper rolls as you can find. Maybe that's why there's been toilet paper shortages. And you go to a friend's house, or maybe it's not a friend, someone you're wanting to leave a statement. And you go to all their tall trees, and you take the toilet paper rolls and you unroll them just enough to where you toss the rolls up into the trees, and it gets caught, and then it just rolls the roll straight down. And then you've got all these strings of toilet paper from the trees just covering the trees and inside the trees and falling to the ground. It just shows an incredible sight of frustration and anger from the people when they wake up the next morning. So black, you could do your covert operations at night dressed in black. People put it all over their face, and to cover up, so where you blend into the dark. It's like a dark camo, right? Black could be used to black out things like your windows, black curtains and things, just to keep the light from shining through, or for people seeing through your windows. So number 6, let's talk about green. And it necessarily doesn't have to be any particular shade of green, especially if it's a mixture of colors of greens, different greens, to make camo. Again, during the daytime. Maybe the camo is better even than black. The camo to your surroundings. Having that different type of protection, maybe the camo tarps, the coverings that you can make for your gear, for your dwelling place, for your area that maybe you're trying to secure, that you don't want visitors, you don't want people coming in and snooping around. Having some camo to help cover those things. So camo, green. How about the color red? Now, red stands out, right? Red could be maybe marked for your emergency items. How many times have we seen that red cross, right? And that's, okay, that's my med kit. It's a very bright marking that shows emergency. Ambulances with the red on them, red flashing lights. It can mean emergency. It can also mean danger. What about having the beware signs? Sometimes people like to put beware of dog. Okay, you're trying to keep people off your property. How about beware of owner? And the defensive tools that the owner may carry. But the caution tape, beware, trying to keep people off and away from a certain area. So that could be utilized. That could be utilized to affect for some people. Some people who wouldn't, they'd still, decide to trespass anyway. But to some people, they're like, let's move on to the low-lying fruit. I don't like where all this red is taking me. So that's a color. How about blue? Now, blue, necessarily, you can't say, well, I can't think of a great emergency. Maybe you can. You can put it in the comments. But sometimes in a stressful situation, having some blue. Blue has been known for calmness, serenity. It's kind of been known as a relaxing color, the color blues. There's different shades of blue. And maybe your favorite color shade of blue, having some of that around the house or around your area while you're trying to relax and de-stress. Anxiety levels may have risen, and you just need to have yourself surrounded with that color as a psychological thing. Okay? How about gold? Well, the color gold can associate with real gold. I guess having some extra gold around wouldn't hurt, right? But let's talk about the last color. And I'm going to introduce this last color with a short story. All right, there was this pirate captain. All right, he was in charge of this massive pirate ship, and they were sailing the seven seas, and plundering and looting. And on occasion, a Spanish galleon would appear to come and try to take out this pirate ship. Now, what the captain would do when the crew would come and they'd come running, Captain, there's a Spanish galleon approaching, and he'd say, okay, prepare for battle. And what he would do is he would wear his red shirt. Now you say, why would the captain don a red shirt just before battle? Well, he knew that once the battle started and maybe the galleon came close and they boarded and they were all got their swords and they were fighting, if the captain became wounded, then his crewmen wouldn't see the blood because the blood would blend in with the red shirt. And so then they would still be inspired that their captain is there and he's uninjured. And so the red shirt would conceal the blood. And they would be, so then the next time, Captain, there's another Spanish galleon ship approaching. Oh, let's prepare for battle. And he'd don his red shirt. Give me my red shirt. He would tell the cabin boy, right? He goes, grab me my red shirt. And so he'd go back in the battle and they'd fight victorious and the men were inspired once again. However, one day, maybe it was the man up on the flagpole, right? That little bird's nest up on the pole. And he'd come down and he'd say, Captain, the entire Spanish armada is upon us. And he looked at the cabin boy and says, quick, grab me my brown pants.